Good morning, everyone. Tonight is a yahrzeit of my father, Alav Shalom, the second yahrzeit. And as usual, the share is going to be Le'ilui Nishmasoi. He was a tzaddik and a kadosh, even though living in a country where, we're not allowed to say Spadim on Nisan, especially not on Yantev. Just want to focus on one midah. He was working in a yeshiva, and little did he know that the board basically was getting so much money. He would fundraise also. They were getting so much money that they started investing the money. And this investment turned into gold. And since they were he was amongst the four first in the yeshiva, there were four people together that put up this yeshiva after the war in France. He made a fortune. Came the day, they approached my father, didn't know anything about it. They said to him that you have a lot of money. It was in billions of francs. I don't know how much is today, it's probably in billions of dollars. Crazy amount how it turned out to be. I was 26 at the time. They came to my father, they said, we want you to sign and renege all your shares. Honestly, anyone in this world that would renege billions of dollars off a signature like this? My father was a big action on this. He says, I don't take non-kosher money. He had a school himself. He had financial issues and everything, and to get his own school going and everything. He was mamash struggling, but he said, I don't teach Torah with money that's not honest. So we brought lawyers. We say, don't do this, at least take money for the school. Let's not take money for ourselves. We understand. My father wouldn't hear anything. He told them, where do I sign? Lawyers were home. He signed billions of dollars. He says, I'm not touching them. He never touched them. Never had a regret. Not one day in his life. Never spoke about it as he would regret. I could have made, never. For him, it was never a question. So anyway, with this midday in mind, let's start our share. Tonight, I should have a aliyah because we're going to speak, don't have a lot of koiches tonight, unfortunately, but I'm going to try to do my best and give you some insight on the Kryas Yam Suf, which is obviously the end of Yetzias Mitzrayim. So we have to understand what's going on. The Torah tells us, actually I'm going to share the screen to provide you the pasuk. At the end, Sheishes Yomim Toichal Matzos. 6 days you have to eat matzos. Ubayoim HaShevi, and on the seventh day, Atzeres L'Hashem Elokecha. Stop. What do you mean? I can eat chametz on the seventh day? What's Atzeres? Stop. 6 days you must eat matzah. But on the seventh, you have to stop. Any one of you stops eating matzah tomorrow? No. It's a mitzvah to eat matzah, to make a lechem mishneh, to do everything normally till the last moment till the end of Yantev. Where do we get this atzeres coming here in the middle? Stop. Hard stop. We eating matzahs, it says in another pasuk, 7 days you have to eat matzahs. So why is this pasuk saying 6 and you gotta stop? Kryas Yam Suf, obviously, is not a simple nes. It's a very, very complicated nes. We're going to try to navigate. I'm not going to go dig out every point because we're going to be here till Yontev, but I just want to emphasize what was the key to Kryas Yam Suf and what is there for me tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. What is there for me to take? Each one needs a Kryas Yam Suf in his life. There's not one person that doesn't need a Kryas Yam Suf. Everybody's going through Mitzrayim, Mitzarim. Every person has boundaries, has limits, things that drive him crazy. And everyone needs opening. The proof? How do we say in the pasuk? How does the pasuk say when the water split? Vaibaku hamayim. Boikeya yam lifnei Moshe, like we say in Mariv in Vayemuna, that Kodesh Baruch Hu split the ocean before Moshe Rabbeinu. Boikeya bekias Yam Suf. Kryas Yam Suf means you're tearing it apart. What we're talking about here, Kryas Yam Suf. That's what we're doing here. We take it and we tear it apart, the Yam. Kodesh Baruch Hu never done that. Kodesh Baruch Hu opened, okay, Targum Yonasan says it was 12 alleys for each Shevet, and between each one you had windows to see. Fine, big nice. But what do you call this Kryas Yam Suf? You didn't have to tear it apart. You just split it. Kryas doesn't mean splitting. Kriya means to tear. What happened? Let's go through a few midrashim to understand that the truth is we understand nothing in Kryas Yam Suf. I'm not going to take you through the Zohar much today, very little, because I want to give a yesod, tremendous yesod I'm going to give today from the Zohar HaKadosh. And basically, that's basically the only part I'm going to bring up. All the rest going to be midrashim. We don't need to go. It's so mind-boggling, this Kryas Yam Suf. Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer HaGadol, the Rebbe of Rabbi Akiva. Moshe Rabbeinu comes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and tells him, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what do we do? In the front, we have the Mitzrayim. In the back, we have the ocean. Where do we go? Kadosh Baruch Hu made a sign to Michal. He came and he created a wall of fire. The Egyptians tried to push and go there. By the way, just, just for the note of it, the Panei Raza, some say it was the Rav of Rashi, it was a Talmid of Rabbi Gon. Some say it was about a Tosfos. It looks like more, the way he writes is about a Tosfos. So he's one of the Tosfos and he explains. He calculates, he proves from, the Pasuk that there were 9 million Egyptians. 9 millions? Yes, there were 9 millions that came down. Do you understand the fear that Bnei Yisrael felt? You see the beginning, you don't see the end. Every Mitzri came out. They all wanted to kill some Jews. They were all there. But I have a different problem. How long was a crossover from one side to another of the Yam Suf? You understand that a line of 9 million people is not such a short line. And therefore, you know, it takes some time for all of them to go through. And probably the first one already on the other bank, while the first one have not even the other side have not even entered. So how did it happen? the nace of Kryas Yam Suf that all the Egyptians drowned into the ocean. Not easy to drown 9 million people. Not easy. How did it happen? Let me rephrase it. What is the ness of Kryas Yam Suf? Oh, we crossed. Yes, that's a consequence. The water split. Yeah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu say to Moshe with the mate, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, whatever. Easy. What is the ness of Kryas Yam Suf? What are we making Shvi Shel Pesach such? You see, the whole Pesach, the Lela, Seder, and the everything is great. We get everything for free. Kadosh Baruch Hu takes us in the Bina, brings us to the Olam Haba Elyon. We saw in the Shiurim, of on the Haggadah, that with the benching, the Barech, we can elevate ourselves above the Yesod of the Bina, in the Tiferes of the Bina, above the Olam Haba Ha'elyon. This I can quantify. I understand where we at. I know what I'm doing. I know where I get. Here, I know nothing. I'm coming to the Shvi Shel Pesach, and I don't know. It's not like we say something or we do a ritual or anything. No, there's no ritual. There's nothing. So what is it? I showed you. Atzeres Lashem Eloikecha. Now it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What is now HaKadosh Baruch Hu? What is his now? What did he take away from us that we had so far in the first 6 days? Rabbi Eliezer Gadol says, the Bnei Israel was so panicked that night that even the Pamalia Shalmaila, the Malachim on top, felt their pain. And that night they didn't say Shira. When it says in the pasuk "Veloi karav ze el ze kol halayla," they did not approach one another the whole night. It doesn't talk about Egyptian and Jews. Rabbi Eliezer Hagadol explained that the Malachim did not get together to say Shira to HaKadosh Baruch Hu like every day. Why? Because Bnei Israel are in pain, are suffering. How can we say Shira when Bnei Israel are in such pain? Interesting. Midrash Rabba, and I'm going to bring just 2 or 3 midrashim because it's across the board. This story with the Yam and Moshe Rabbeinu is beyond mind-boggling. I'm going to take it from the Midrash Rabba because he explains a bit more in details. Moshe Rabbeinu, Kadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe Rabbeinu, go to the Yam, tell him to open up. Moshe Rabbeinu tells HaKadosh Baruch Hu that the pasuk in Eov saying that the border of the Yam is sand. How is he going to split? You told him not. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, I have a t'nai with him from the beginning of my Bereshis, that when my children will come and they will need to run away from the Egyptians, he will have to split. Okay, Moshe Rabbeinu goes. The Sar of the Yam tells him, who are you to order me? I was created on the 3rd day. You were created on the 6th day. I am more important than you. I don't have to listen to you. Moshe Rabbeinu shows him the mate that he comes on a mission from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Yam doesn't move. Moshe Rabbeinu returns to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He doesn't want to listen. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put his hand on the hand of Moshe Rabbeinu, and then, ooh, the Yam runs away. Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't understand. So he tells the Sar Yam, why do you run away? Hayam ra'av vayonos, the ocean sea, so, and run away. Vayonos, Menusas cherv, like when people run away from the sword, from war. He ran away. So I tell him, Moshe, I'm not running away from you. And I'm not running away from Ben Amra, meaning not even for the schus of your father. I'm running away because I saw HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What the heck? Moshe Rabbeinu told you that he was coming on behalf of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not your seed. Didn't you know that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't lie? Didn't you know that he showed you on the mate all the shemis of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Was it not enough? Do you have to disturb HaKadosh Baruch Hu? What was going on through the mind of the Sar of the Yam? Why did he listen to Moshe Rabbeinu in the first place? And what is he telling him? Oh, I'm not running away from you. Okay. What are we? In first grade class here that people, yeah, I got you. You know what? I'm not running from you. I'm running from the big guy. What's all this about? I want to show you something, because this is the first yesod we're gonna have that we can take from this for the whole year round. And whenever you do it, something will happen. The Zohar HaKadosh says, I can't remember on top of my head right now, where is it written, this one? I can look. The Zohar HaKadosh says that a person should not raise his hands vainly, for no reason. Why? Because when he raises his hands, he's waking, the Zohar is in Parshas Naso. Because when he raises his hands, he basically triggers the names of Hashem. What? I'm raising my hands, not the hands, sorry, fingers. You can raise your fingers like this for no reason, but you cannot do it like this. When we do Netilas Yadayim, we raise them and we bring them to this level of the head, the keser, right on top. We don't go above the head. We go right there. Why? Why do we do this? Funny thing, no? You wash your hands, you have to raise your hands. Dari HaKadosh says, if you knew what you were doing with this, would be July 4th. If you knew when you do this after you wash your hands, how many soides in everything that Chazal told us. But let's focus on one thing. Because here, we saw at the end of the Parasha that very inyan, that very subject. Moshe Rabbeinu sends Yshua to fight Amalek. What is Moshe Rabbeinu doing the whole day? He sits on a mount. He has Aaron and Hur. So Aaron and his nephew, the son of Miriam, holding each one a hand, and he has his hands like this. And whenever his hands are up, Bnei Israel win. If Chaz v'Shalom they would be down, they would lose. Mishnah asks, V'chiyadav shel Moshe oises milchama. Is it the hand of Moshe that makes a milchama? We'll get to it. What is when a person raises his fingers like this? If you realize, when we say Poseach es yadecha, usually the Sfarim open their hand. Some go like this, it's wrong. It's like this. Raise them. So what happens when I raise my fingers? How do I wake up the names of Hashem and automatically they come down to answer me right away? It's a din in the Bria, in the creation. When a person in Tefillah, in a Tzara, says a Zohar, or when he says the Shem Hashem and he needs help and he raises his fingers, he unleashes what we're gonna see. Let's look at it. That's the pasuk, with Amalek and everything. If I take the word yad, yud, dalet, with the koilo equals 455. 455 equals the names Tana, Taf, Nun, Hey. The 455. Which means we call them by what they are, by their value. These are called the names Tana. Okay, which means 455. The names of 455. What are they? Kasa, 161. Aleph. if you see the red, these are all the Keye. Aleph, Hey, Yud, Hey. First possibility, which is the highest Keye, which is equal Venake. Because when they come down, these names, they cannot help if someone is not clean. So they have to clean him first. The second one is Kana, 151, which is Aleph, Hey. You see, we changed the spelling of Hey. Instead of putting a Yud, it's Hey, Hey. Yud, Hey. This is the name of the mikveh when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is metaher a person. And then we have the Shem Kamag, Aleph, Hey, Yud, Ke. So all the name of Skeye are coming down to help a person. When we say Meloi Chol Haaretz Kevoido, the kabed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere on earth, filling up every corner. 455, meaning his names, we're referring to these names. What's happening? Very simple. Who can withstand these names? So these names, Keye is in the Keser. Sorry, my computer rebooted. I lost I never saved them. I couldn't find anymore the drawing of the spheres. So we know we all the way on top. So the Keser and the Bina is the female of the Keser, is a Kli. It's the vessel. So whatever name, light that's issued from the Keser goes into the Bina, and the Bina is the one that protects. So that's why on Pesach we are in the Bina. And this is where the again, it's the Olam of the Torah, it's the Olam of Cherus, freedom. It's the world of the Olam Haba Ha'elyon, where tzaddikim are. So through these names, a person is basically taken away from his sorrow. Why? Because the Zohar say, when these names shine, there's no mazik remaining in the entire world. What do you mean? Only because I did that? Yes. Don't do it for nothing. But if you have a reason to do it, do it. Don't be afraid. Oh, I don't have kavanas. Put kavanas everywhere you want. Sorry. You don't need kavanas. You don't need anything. You need this. That's why, even though you don't know the kavanas that we say in the pasuk, it's fine. By you coming with the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, nobody, al netilas yadayim, ani. We're trying to take away the anius from the person when we do this. That's the kavana to have when we say, al netilas yadayim, and we have the hands up when we say al. So we don't say Baruch Atah Hashem, boom, hand down. No. Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam asher kideshanu b'mitzvoso b'tzivanu. Now my mind is working. Al netilas yadayim, with the shemes hakodesh, remove aniyas from our house, from our table, from everywhere around us. Since aniyas is a klipa, and when these names are coming down, when we have raised our hands, there's nothing left, only felicity, menucha, happiness, simcha, everything. So this is what we do. So Moshe Rabbeinu, when he told him HaKadosh Baruch Hu to raise his hand, the mechutzaf of the Sarayam didn't listen. Why? Because Moshe Rabbeinu did Vayet Moshe es Yadoi, only one hand. The trick is, don't do this. This has no effect. This has an effect. Don't be ashamed of people or feel bad. When you say Peseyach es Yadecha and you want Parnasa, do it. You trigger the names of the Keser, which are above the names of Parnasa. So even if the names of Parnasa were not there for you, it doesn't matter. You're into the Keser, you call the names. You're way above. And I'm going to show you this part. That's where the shear is going to focus rather than, the ocean and anything else. Because this, we're going to see that this exactly what opened up the waters. We see in the pasuk here, at the beginning of the Parasha, I don't want to go back into it. I just want to bring out a point. Vayhi beshalach Paro yesam. So Paro sent out the Erev Rav. Veloi nacham Eloikim. Interesting. So I'm not going to go, me when I read words, right away the digduk jumps to my eyes. Derech Eretz Pelishtim. I don't know. We have a Midbar that has 42 masais, 42 encampments. Each one has a name. We have Parody Heroes. We have Derech Midbar. We have Derech Eretz Pelishtim. We need the ways in that Midbar. It's not a Midbar. It's a big city. What's going on? I thought they went into the Midbar. Midbar means there's nothing. Sand. Nothing grows. Only Nechashim and Akravim. How is it possible? We get so many different, every time they come to this. They go, what? You have cities all over? 42 of them? You're telling me that Midbar is a Midbar? Now, Derech, the way to Pelishtim, and then you have the way to the Midbar. Derech HaMidbar Yam Suf. Oh, Derech HaMidbar Yam Suf. Interesting. Keep this in mind. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe Rabbeinu, the Mitzrim are coming, fine. Daber b'nei Yisrael v'yashuvu. Tell them to come back toward the Mitzrim. V'yachanu, and camp lifnei pi hachiros. Before pi hachiros, Rashi explained it's Pisayim. So they're coming back towards Pisam and Ramses. They're basically on the other side of the border. Ben Migdol uven Hayam. You know where pi hachiros is, in case you don't remember? It's between Migdol and Hayam. You make the right turn there and everything. You can't get lost. There's signs in this Midbar. Lifnei Baal Tzefoin, just in case you don't know. Nichoy, so before Baal Tzefoin, Nichoy Sachanu Alayam, across you'll camp on the Yam. I don't want to go into all of it because we can say share right on this. It's so interesting what's going on here behind these words. But I want to bring up just one thing, what is in red. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell them, Lifne Piachiros, before Piachiros. But when Paro comes, look what the Pasuk says, where he finds them. Vayidefu Mitzrayim achareihem. Mitzrayim run after them, chase them. Vayasigu oisam choinim alayam. They reached them, they were camping on the Yam. Kol sus rechev paroi. All the chariots, sus rechev paroi. It's not even Hebrew. If you know what's hiding behind this, maybe I'll have time to tell you what is this. Every horse of a chariot, the chariot of Paro. Do you know if you go with a chariot, you know a horse that's going to stay back? They're all attached together. But anyway, let's go back to our point. Al pi hachiros. Now it's not lifnei pi hachiros, it's al pi hachiros. Now lifnei ba'al tzefoim. This we kept. Interesting that the pasuk, within a few psukim, we changed the language, and Paro doesn't see the Bnei Israel the way they camped, where the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu told them. He sees it differently. What's happening here? The Midrash tells us what happened in the background in that time. Uzzah, the Sar of Mitzrayim, that I'm quoting Rabbeinu Bachye, told HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he saw that, he couldn't save the Mitzrayim from, he couldn't save, I shouldn't say he couldn't save the Mitzrayim. He wanted to save the Mitzrayim and making a deal with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's fine. You can save the Bnei Israel, but you don't have to decimate the Mitzrayim. And anyway, he had a deal. There's no difference amongst them. These are Ovdei Avodah Zarah, and these are Ovdei Avodah Zarah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered them, Shoite, idiot, stupid. Those were forced, and those were willing. Big difference. He saw he couldn't do nothing. He backed off. But this whole night, there was a din Torah in Shemayim between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the minister of Mitzrayim. No nation down here loses a war or wins a war unless something happened to the Malach on top. In other words, if Mitzrayim is going to lose down here, first, the Malach should be thrown down. Should be killed. It's called a death. If a nation is going up, then the Malach on top first goes up, and then that has for consequence that this nation will be successful down here. There's a whole Torah about the Mitzrayim felt it. Paro was becoming action. They told him, we still reign on the whole world. Okay, we're not going to have the Jews. Give it up. Be smart. And let's keep on reigning on the world. And Paro couldn't let go. So, what triggered all of a sudden Paro, who knew the Shemus in up there, everything he has done to stop the Shemus from protecting the Jews. Every word that says in this pasuk is a shame of Tuma in order to prevent the Shemus of Gdusha, the names of Gdusha, to basically provide and defend the Bnei Israel. It's amazing what it says in this pasuk. We're just going to see one thing. I'm just going to show you, unveil one thing so you can understand. We took that pasuk. Sheshes yamim toichal matzos. 6 days you will eat matzos. By Yom HaShavi atzeres. Stop. What do you mean stop? We asked before. Atzeres equals 760. 760 equals 2 times 380. 2 times Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim down below and Mitzrayim up there. Remember the Zohar? Melech Mitzrayim, when he doesn't say Paro Melech Mitzrayim, it's always the Sar, the angel. So in order, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to do the miracle by himself. Oh, I like that. So we don't have to do it. No. There is a difference between the first 6 days of Pesach, when we have to do the avodah through eating matzah, with the 7th day of Pesach, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself is doing the avodah by himself and is providing Yeshuas. I like what I hear. So how do I get it? Look at this. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu told them, you remember, and I'm just going back just to explain that point of Atzeres, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing. Look what Paro did. Lifnei piachirois. Piachirois equals the same thing as ben habesarim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu started the shibud when Avram had his dream in Beis HaBesarim. The Cherus started, you see, Piachirois, Cherus. This is the mouth of Cherus. This is where the true Yetzias Mitzrayim started. Even the Chassam Sofer says, Zohar es hayoyim hazeh asher yetzasem miMitzrayim, the mitzvah of Zechira of Yetzias Mitzrayim is on the 7th day of Pesach. It's not the day of Leila Seder when we came out, because we still had the din of Avodim. When we're going to cross the Yam Suf, we're going to have a din of Banim. Oh, how did we pass from Avodim to Banim? Everything is going to come together now. So, Lifnei Baal Tzefoin, Nichoy Sachanu al Hayam equals 1637, 1637. Adam, Aryeh, Nesher, Shoyer. The face of a man, the face of a lion, the face of the eagle, and the face of the bull. This is the Merkava. This is the chariot of the Shechina. When the Shechina comes, you have Uriel, Michael, Gavriel, Raphael. And we name them also, through these hinted to this. So who is Shach? Because I'm missing 320. 320 are all the dinim, all the sparkles that fell from Adam Arishon when he sinned. And all the work we do, every mechashef, every sorcerer, when he saw that he could not subjugate the Jews, he revived the chet of Adam Arishon. Haman did it, Lavan did it, Bilam did it, and Paro did it. Here, but what's happening here, all of a sudden, the language of the Torah changes. Al pi achiros lifnei Baal Tzefoin. Now we lost 320. So now we have the Merkaba only. Adam, exactly. Adam, Aryeh, Nesher, Shoyer. Exactly. Oh, the Shekhinah now is by itself? Yeah. What happened to this dinim? Oh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu took them away by himself. Why? How? Because, we're surrounded by dinim the whole year. I would like to understand how they've been removed. Atzeres. There is a time where HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're going to activate HaKadosh Baruch Hu and he's going to do the job on himself. You don't need to get involved. Says the pasuk in Shir Hashirim, Lesusasi berichvei faroi di misich rayasi. So obviously the grammar is wrong again, and it has a lot of depth, this pasuk, but I will give you what the Midrash says about it, what the Zohar says about it. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to fool Paroi, and he saw in Shamayim his horse and himself. So Paroi was not stupid. He saw that Bnei Israel tovim bayam, and Paroi uMitzrayim oimdim al sfas hayam. Paroi and Mitzrayim will remain on the shore, and Bnei Israel will drown in the ocean. That's what the Mazalis have told Paroi. And it was clear. And what does he see? He sees his horse, Mamash, his best horse, coming through the skies like this. Who was that? The Shekhinah. The Misich Rayasi. You looked, I made, my love, I made you look like it. I made you look like the horse of Paroi in order to tempt him to come to the ocean, and he won't realize that it's basically his end. We know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, though, if you take Sus Rechev Paroi, I just want to give you the number, it's exactly the Misich Ariasi. So you see that the Midrash, when he tells you something, means he has a true equivalence. So what happens here? Paro sees in the Mazalis that he's fine. He is fine. And he's going to come out victorious. HaKadosh Baruch Hu rules the world with tzedek and with the Shem Elokim, with the Teva. So how come Paro made such a mistake? You remember? Let me show you this, because otherwise it's going to be hard to remember. It says in the pasuk, "Vayasar es oifan markevoisa." HaKadosh Baruch Hu removed the wheel of his chariot. What's the wheel of the chariot? Ofan equals 131. You remember halachma anya, which is 131, and we say it's the Sam Samal is 131. So he removed him, which is the one, the galgal, the wheel, the oifan that gets the 12 zodiac attached to it. That's what he removed. I told you to remember why at the beginning of the Parasha we were not going to go through Eretz Pelishtim. Oifan Markevoisa equals Peleshes. Also. 810. What was the problem with the Pelishtim? Not that we're scared of. Not that there's going to be a milchama. Look at this. There was a milchama no matter what. The Mitzrim came to fight. So if that's what you worry, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then don't take us also derech Midbar. So in As Yashir, it says, let me take the pasuk. I remember. My head is shut. Someone remembers the pasuk where it says Parasha. Just open your microphone and say it, please. Save me time. Shamu Amim Yirgazun, the nation have heard and feared. Chil Ochaz Yoishve Peloshes. Fear inhabited the resident of Peloshes, means the Pelishtim. Aha. So what was the problem exactly taking us through the Pelishtim? Because they were attached to the zodiac, and there's nothing you could have done. Bnei Israel didn't have the power unless we remove the Oifan Markevoisav, the wheel that controls the zodiac, then we can win the Pelishtim. By winning the Pelishtim while their zodiac is in full power, this we didn't have the power. That's why I wanted to show you HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because then it would have been a milchama that the Bnei Israel indeed will have to fight. Not HaKadosh Baruch Hu would have fought for us, because they had the Mazalos with them. Now, that said, when we take Oifan Markevoisa, the whole Pesach we have been in Noitzer Chesed La'alafim, Noisei Yavan V'Pesach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mechaper on the whole Pesach on the person. So as long as it's Pesach, we are in Noitzer Chesed La'alafim. How do we get there? You know, we gave a whole shir on this. I'm not going to go back to this. Is with Yira Shamayim. Yira Shamayim equals 1001. Equals 13 times Muzzle. It's the 13th Muzzle, the Mazala, the Atika Kadisha, says the Zohar, calls it. It's not even a Muzzle, it's beyond the word Mazalas. It controls everything in this world. All the Shefa of the Mazalas come through that Muzzle. That Muzzle was not in action. Noitzer Chesed La'alafim. So when I ate matzah and when we talked about the Haggadah, we came across it quite a few times. But what is it on Shvi Shel Pesach that triggers that Muzzle to the point that the Muzzle itself, that has all the brachas, Be'atika Talia Milsa. The Zohar says everything depends on Atika, on the old, we mean the old Muzzle, this one. 13 times Muzzle, so this is the Yud. You remember that Yud? On top of the Aleph, this is the Yud which a Jew attached himself. How does he attach himself to this and then control the whole zodiac? Let me show you this. And I'm going to close on this, because this is the two things we have here. These two yesoides are crazy. Rabbeinu Hananel says, a lot of people say, you know, I have emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, emunah. Emunah is 4 layers. You have emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you have emunah in the Nevi'im, you have emunah in that the Mashiach is coming. What missing a level. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Nevi'im, and Olam Haba. And emunah in Olam Haba, there's a din v'cheshben at the end. Once a person has these 4 layers of emunah, this person is a different person. If he raises his hands, what's happening in Shamayim is beyond description. Let's write emunah, and Obviously, I prepared you Emunah with the Yud, with the Hey, with any type of orthograph. I come to the same, even though they don't have the same number, where we come to the same conclusion. But we're going to write Aleph, Mem, Vav, Nun, Hey. How much is Emunah like this? It's 334. Now, you realize that's what we call the Pashut. The Pashut means this. Emunah written like this, it's Pashut. It's the simplest way. So these are, the red are basically the word Emunah that we expanded, right? Emunah equals 102. So here we have a composition of 102. I don't like to write the cross mark, so we're going to write this sign. And 232. Do you know what this number is? This number equals Ralab, 232. These are including the names of Hashem, the one of 72, Yud Ke Vav Ke written like this, with Yud. That's in the Chochmah, in the Bina, Sag is in the Bina. So always this is the value of this. We call them by their value. In Kabbalah, we call always a name by its value. Ralab 232 is the four of them together equals 232. So just for you to see, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, we just change one. Now we have Ma, the one valued 45, which is Adam, which is Geula, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, and the one Ben, like Behema, Eliyahu, Caleb. And there's a reason why all these names have this value. Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. So if you take 72 plus 63 plus 45 plus 52 equals 232. So you basically have a simple emunah. But you believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you make sure to have in your mind, I believe in the Nevi'im, I believe in Olam Haba, and I believe in Mashiach. Before, we saw that you were triggering the name of the Keser, Kasa, Kana, Kamad. These were. Now, because you added yourself a true emunah, you basically have all the names of the Chachma, of the Bina, of the Tiferes. And this one is you know, all the Olamas. All the Olamas are coming here to help you. That's Atzeres. Atzeres means stop. Once you have done your work, on Shvi Shel Pesach, once we have done our work, the Michla de Mehem Nusa, the matzah is the food of emunah. We have developed our emunah. Now we come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you know what? We're going to go out. We're going to start the summer, and then it's Tammuz Av, you know, the terrible thing. Then we have Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and so forth. We need help. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, stop and don't worry. If a person is capable of taking this message and internalizing it, understand that with simple gesture, but with a little bit of das, and with belief, the right belief, now that you know exactly what it's composed of, how the Rishonim learn how it's composed of, with this together, you will see Yeshua. You don't have to do anything. Yehi Ratzon, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the same way. He saved the Bnei Israel from the Mitzrayim, from the Mitzarim, in all the Oilamos, all the Neshamas. Any sparkle of Jewish Kedusha that fell, no matter how low it is, no matter, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should create a path and should take them out. And all the Bnei Israel living in this generation on the Shibud Malchuyos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should create also open avenues and take us out from here. B'schus the emunah that we had for so many thousands of years, and b'schus that we raise our hand to His name and say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the same way you sent these names to do Kryas Yam Suf, these were the one when they showed up, the Yam took off. They don't play this name. They didn't gently open the Yam Suf, they tore it apart. Tear apart our enemies. Tear apart that everything that makes us struggle, and bring us back to Yerushalayim Mirakodesh with the Besamikdash B'meher B'yameinu Amen.
Amen.